Is Hollywood dead, or is it just evolving? What if one day an entire movie from story to animation to soundtrack, even the actors, could all be made with AI? Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's not science fiction anymore. That's already happening. And today, I want to talk to you about how AI is changing the entertainment industry and what that means for filmmakers like you and me. Hi, I'm Robert Hollywood Gobelet. I'm an actor, a writer, and a professional independent filmmaker, and I've been in the filmmaking industry professionally since about 2014. And I've worked on everything from full independent films, music videos, documentaries, commercials, TV shows, stuff like that. And I love sharing filmmaking tips, tools, and advice for other creatives, and to just be part of the community and the filmmaking group. So everything from the TM film community to the National Film Institute to Dinner with Dreamers. I just like to be a part of the community and we all talk. So let's talk a little bit about AI. This is going to be a long one today. But when we talk about AI, some people either get super excited or they get super terrified, while the rest of us, like myself, are just trying to figure out where we fit into this new landscape. So in this video, I want to kind of break down how AI is already being used in the film entertainment world, like what's going on, the opportunities that it creates, and some of the risks that we need to keep in mind with this new trend. And don't worry, traditional filmmaking is not dead. So first, let's get real for a second. When I say AI in the entertainment industry, I'm not just talking about people who are using things like ChatGPT to write their scripts or to generate some ideas, or even using Midjourney to create concept art. I'm talking about entire companies built around generating AI content at a massive scale. For example, there's a company out there called Inception Point AI, and they're basically running what I'd like to call a podcast factory, a podcast mill. Because right now they produce over 3,000 podcast episodes generated by AI a week. They already have over 5,000 different shows in their catalog. And here's the crazy part. They're actually doing it with a team of about 8 real people. And it takes them less than 5 minutes to generate an entire 1-hour podcast episode using this AI voice and this AI system. The CEO, Janine Wright, has said pretty boldly that she is convinced and claims that in the near future, half of everybody that we see online will all be AI. When critics call her podcast AI schlop, she just kind of fired back saying that everybody and all the critics that are against it are probably lazy lullarbites, which just means that that's people who are afraid of technology and afraid of change. Now, whether or not you agree with her, that's a whole different thing. And maybe it's just a glimpse at both her confidence or even arrogance behind these new AI companies and AI techs. Because there's a lot of people out there who feel that way and they feel like this is the new direction and they're not going to stop. And here's the part that really kind of struck me. Wright herself even admitted that a lot of her listeners and viewers of her shows and the contents and the YouTube videos and the podcasts that they're getting online might not even be real humans. She says that there are AI fans and AI bots out there that are liking, commenting, subscribing, and basically helping boost the numbers and boosting the algorithms so that the content gets pushed out to real people like you and me, and it's generating income, and so they can continue to keep pushing out this AI schlop. So I want you to think about this for just a second. It's kind of crazy. There are AI companies out there making AI shows for an AI audience, and they're making real money. So AI is not going anywhere. It's right there. But podcast really is just the beginning. So I want to talk about film and television because that's where you and me are at. And there's this new company out there that people have been talking about the last couple of weeks called Particle 6 Productions. And they've introduced the world's first AI actress, Tilly Norwood. Their goal, they have literally said they want her to be the next Scarlett Johansson. Now, Tilly isn't a real human. She's fully digitally created and trained AI bot. She's animated through AI. Now, what does that mean when they get her on set and how that interactions? I don't know. But she has a social media account. She posts videos. She has a personality. And the company is already pitching her to talent agents and for big blockbuster videos. And she's already been used in several commercials on the BBC. And the founder of the company, Elaine Vanderwhite or something like that. Anyway, she says that she believes that the next generation of cultural icons will be synthetic. She feels like the stars that will never tire, never age, and can interact with our fans at all times. And honestly, it doesn't even stop there. Studios are already experimenting with AI characters such as background actors, background extras, sports arenas, concerts. They even use AI-generated crowds to fill in the seats. So when you're watching these big stadiums, these big concerts or something like that, these big stadiums shot blockbuster movies or live stream concerts, everybody in the crowd might not even really be there or exist. And that's happening all the time. So I want you to watch this real quick video. This is created 100% by AI. It's AI generated all the way. It's starring Tilly Norwood and several other AI actors. And it's already been pushed and aired on the BBC. So before we talk about AI cloning and AI actors real quick, I just want you to watch this video because a lot of people who's watched this video, who's commented on this video, who has talked about this video, they talk about her because the whole commercial is designed to be kind of like a product booster for Tilly. But every single other person in that video that are talking about her are also AI generated. And that's the part that blows my mind because people are missing that part. They see the video and they see Tilly Norwood and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this. And they completely miss the fact that the rest of the entire video, including the background, the music, the voices, and all the other actors in this video is all AI. So if you think that's scary, take a look at this and tell me what you thought.
We all knew TV was dead, but thought, why not squeeze in one last development meeting?
We had one rule: no missing children, no dead women, and no reboots of Heartbeat.
We'd pitched this beautiful comedy, two sisters running a funeral parlour in Margate. Warm, weird, very BBC Two.
The commissioner said no. AI generated 100 better ideas in minutes, perfectly aligned to channel data, viewing figures, and optimised for the audience. The winning AI format?
I know what you streamed last summer.
An interactive thriller built from your streaming history and delivery orders.
What? And who could forget the mental health format?
Britain's Got Breakdown. Audience votes on who gets therapy.
Ian Katz loved that one. I remember saying, you do realise this is for BBC Two? It tested ridiculously well, particularly among men who shop at Screwfix and women obsessed with gut health.
All made for less than the catering budget on The Bear.
It cast and budgeted itself. Only bit it struggled with was consent in romantic scenes. We just ignored that.
It wrote the whole script. Claude 3, Gemini, GPT. We called it a writer's room.
It even did its own Silver Mouse paperwork and immediately got Albert certified.
What's Silver Mouse?
Just an elaborate BBC hazing ritual.
Who did it cast?
Tilly Norwood, 100% AI generated.
By some company called Particle 6.
She'll do anything I say. I'm already in love.
Girl next door vibes.
Like if a Sunday roast went to drama school and got BAFTA optimised.
But can she cry on Graham Norton?
Of course she can. And it'll be clipped, subtitled, and monetised on TikTok by lunchtime.
We're all going to hell.
Got recommissioned, didn't it?
3 seasons and a podcast.
By an AI commissioner, much faster.
But hey, at least it wasn't a reboot.
Isn't that crazy? And as you can see from the video, Tilly Norwood is not the only actress. As you can see, there are several other actors and actresses that are all being generated by this company. This company actually has over 40 different actors and actresses in their inventory for you to choose from. So one of them could represent your commercial, one of them could be in your movie, it doesn't matter. For $50,000, you can have this new AI-generated celebrity in your arsenal for your films. And that not only leads me to AI actors, but also AI cloning, which is something that's been going on for a while. Digital twins with your face, your voice, your mannerisms, so that this way they can star in content without you ever having to leave the couch. And this is actually happening all the time right now. It's already being used by YouTubers all over the place. YouTubers, creators, marketers, and video makers that make these videos, these commercials, these trailers, and even music videos with images of clones that they made of themselves. In one big recent development, this open source Sora AI 2, which is Sora 2, can now be used as a downloadable app on your phone. So creators now have the ability to make these hyper-realistic deepfake videos with themselves, starring themselves, voiced by themselves, by just uploading a few images and maybe a few voice videos. And the creators, they use a space that allows them to clone both themselves to shoot these talking head videos. They'll insert them into scenes without ever setting foot on set. So you in the future will be watching these kinds of videos that could be entirely made of AI. I could be an AI clone. I'm not, but that's what we're going at. And so people are using these things to transform footage, to add their face to the footage. They're using a combination between ChatGPT, Complexity, 11 Labs, HeyGen, and they're fully generating these clone head-talking videos across all these social media platforms. So at one point, when you're sitting there watching a video, when somebody's talking about a different product or a different thing like that, you could actually be watching an AI clone, not an actual person. And this is actually all over TikTok. You'll see this, that some of the content creators and people who are TikTok celebrities are actually AI clones of the people. And people are not just using these clones for that. They're also using them for stunt doubles. They're using them for visual effects and full dialogue sequences. And they're generating trailers sometimes with the clones of themselves embedded into the footage where they're either doing the stunt work or doing the character creation. And I know some filmmakers who are using this AI tools to pitch their own videos into Indiegogo. They're using them for proof of concept to generate movies without having to hire a cast or get a stage or get a crew. And so they'll make these videos and combine everything from stock footage to AI cloning footage and stuff like that with themselves into the video, so this way they make it look more personal, more realistic, and they'll use that for Kickstarter, for Indiegogo campaigns, and they'll use it for crowdfunding and bringing in more money, so this way people will pay for their movies when really they're building and generating a 1 to 2 minute trailer based with this new AI concept. And here's the thing, is we can't really tell the difference sometimes. And we're seeing it all the time, especially on TikTok or on short videos on Facebook or Instagram or something like that. We've all seen the Bob Ross videos where he freaks out and throws his painting down, or watching these big wrestling events with cage matches with Stephen Hawking versus, Albert Einstein. We're seeing all these things that are created by these AI models. So we're now at the point where you can become your own lead actor, director, even marketing engineer, all from your laptop or your phone. And I've talked about that before because we all have the ability to create amazing, stunning footage and content just by using your iPhone now, or your Android, or your Google phone. But I know several professional production companies. This is no longer just amateurs out there or hobbyists. We're talking about full-on fledged production companies with budgets that are no longer shooting B-roll footage with their phone, but they're actually using some of their phone as their A-cam as well. Last year, I shot several commercials for a company, and they want both horizontal and vertical, so this way they can post it on social media. Now, I personally hate vertical shots. I hate vertical videos. I hate I hate that format. It's just, maybe I'm old school, but I just do not like it. But I'm recording this for you as the audience, but I'm also doing it for TikTok and some other places like that. And that's what a lot of these branding companies are doing right now, are using this vertical shots, so this way they can create content that's directly for the social media audience. Anyway, so I had this job of filming both horizontal and vertical videos in commercials. So I had to create the exact same thing twice each time that we shot. And so instead of having a camera and going through with my Sony FX6 and stuff like that, instead of flipping it and shooting it one way or then changing it in post, what they had me do is literally go into these places and just shoot with my iPhone, and that was the A-cam. And that's what this company was paying me to do, to shoot their products. And they're not the only ones that's done that. I've shot a restaurant commercial that way. I've shot promo videos that way. I shot a couple of music videos that way. In fact, we shot one music video where we just had 3 iPhone 16s hooked up, one from a left side, one from a right side, and one in the middle. So this way we had 3 images to cut from, but we were using that, and they used AI-generated special effects for like the sparks, or for pyrotechnics, for flashing lights and fire and stuff like that. And so it's just interesting the change in how fast things are going and what you could do with some of these things. And I just recently did a short film up in Kentucky, and we had 2 Sony FX6s, we had our cinematic lenses, everything's going real well, but once it got dark and it started getting real low light and stuff like that, it was just taking a long time setting up the lights and stuff like that, we realized real quick that we could create the same exact images that we wanted and was happy with by shooting in cinematic mode with the iPhone camera. And so we ended up shooting the entire short film, even though we had literally like $50,000 worth of gear sitting around. We ended up shooting a lot of it with our iPhones. And it's not because it wasn't professional, that's just what the director wanted. That was the images that they were going for. And it sped up time. It made things happen really quick. And so we're seeing this even on a professional level. It's no longer, like I said, it's not the hobbyists. It's not just amateurs. We're seeing this on big levels. ABC The president of ABC just recently invested millions and millions of dollars to start working on these things, these micro dramas that are getting really big up in China and stuff like that are like billion-dollar companies. And I was going to make an entire video about the micro drama, but what ABC is doing is investing in tons of money so they can shoot the entire thing in vertical format, and they're doing these like 3-minute videos. So what they want to do is create like an entire series where there's about 15 videos, so it comes out about 45 minutes or something like that, but it's 15 like these little segments that are micro dramas. So it's soap operas where somebody is like, oh, I'm in love with my boss, my boyfriend's brother or my boyfriend's boss. And see, soap operas, like I might be pregnant with my father-in-law, bum bum bum, or I'm in love with the gangster CEO, and they're trying to make these like 50 Shades of Grey style, but they're still kind of in the PG-13 rating, so it's not like anything really horrible and stuff like that. But we're seeing this switch. I know tons of people will go on Backstage or Actors Access, and they see all these auditions and stuff like that are being asked to film in vertical content. And so a lot of these companies, these big wig companies, including ABC, that's spending millions of dollars that are investing into these micro dramas, are not just filming with flipped over cameras anymore. They want to try to produce these episodes at about $1,500 or less. And so they're actually shooting some of these on their phones. This is ABC. This is the big broadcasting stations with big production companies and big studios, because they're using their money to find the locations or finding the actors and stuff like that. And so we're seeing a huge switch in the industry right now. And it's not just the cameras or the formatting. We're also seeing a huge change in the wave of how films are being made and how films are being looked at. And those companies several years ago invested a ton of money in trying to do something similar to that, to make movies in the vertical format, but they ended up spending up too much money per episode and per idea, and they ended up going bankrupt. But right now, with the leading companies, like I said, in China, they're a billion-dollar company that are making these micro dramas. Now ABC and several other companies, including I think it was Warner Brothers, they're now investing into these ideas of making these vertical micro dramas, and they're implementing AI both to write the scripts, to create the storyboards, to break down the ideas, and to add all the special effects to the films. So this way it just saves money, it saves time, and they can pump out content one right after another, after another, after another. So you don't have just AI-generated actors right now, or AI-generated content with AI-generated podcasts. You have this AI-generated companies that are making these content that's just swallowing up. And here's the thing, is there's so many out there that are not going away. As much as I hate them, as much as you hate them, as much as people say, oh, we don't want to see them, one of the things that they have seen is in the algorithm, and they have seen a trend where people will watch. They'll watch, Cleopatra. It's like Celebrity Deathmatch, except instead of claymation, they'll watch Cleopatra versus Scarlett Johansson in a cage match, but it's all AI generated, which actually leads us to talking about AI talent agents. See, AI actors aren't the only ones in the game anymore. AI talent agents and AI-powered representation, these are groups and platforms that help synthetic actors, digital characters, and even real actors get parts, get exposure, get deals, get contracts, get paid. Just like traditional agencies. There's one that's been out for a couple years now called Casting.ai. This is one of the earlier ones, but they call themselves the world's very first artificial intelligent talent agencies. And their system evaluated an actor's online presence, their audience engagement, their reels, their headshot, and matched them to roles that they felt better suited and perfectly matched them with it. And they're not the only ones. You've all heard of CAA, which is Creative Artists Agency. It's one of the big ones, the giants out there. And they're building what they are calling the CAA Vault with Verticon. And what that means is they're storing digital assets, voices, faces, motion scans. So that's the actors' likenesses that can be used and licensed out. But they want to try to protect the actors and the real people and manage the AI clones and digital doubles ethically. They're trying to make sure that the actor is protected, because this is happening whether you like it or not. it's happening right now. And big blockbuster studios, including Disney and Netflix and Paramount Plus, they are trying to get in touch to use digital assets, face scans, using voices, and put people into the background roles or small characters like Game of Thrones. So what this agency is trying to do is represent the actual actor and use their voice and their likeness and their digital double to represent them as well, to make sure that each actor honestly gets paid. You'd never have to leave your living room or your couch, but you could be on the next Game of Thrones. You could be on there was a movie, Space Jam 2, where Don Cheadle plays Algorithm, and they're trying to get the new basketball guy, the guy with the beard, what's his name? I keep wanting to say Larry Bird, which is the white guy who was in the first one, Michael Jordan. LeBron James. Anyway, Al, played by Don Cheadle, which is Algorithm, actually... it's the same plot, but it's real now. It's real. If you hadn't seen Space Jam 2, watch Space Jam 2. It pretty much breaks down what they're trying to offer LeBron James in the movie is what talent agents are now trying to do to represent real-life actors, to protect them, and to make sure you get IMDb credit, to make sure you get paid for your parts, to make sure that people aren't stealing your stuff, because that's where a lot of the protests and stuff right now are happening. That's where you saw a lot of the... unions go on strike and stuff, was because they were trying to prevent companies from taking over. But here's the thing, AI has gotten so good now that they don't need real actors. They can make a digital double. They can make a digital, it doesn't even have to be you anymore. It can be a complete made up character. They need a fat guy, they need a bald guy, they need a hot girl, they need a whatever, you need a goth chick, whatever. They can just type it in and create and generate their own people. But these talent agents are trying to be able to protect people and their likenesses and try to keep it in a realm of real people. Now, it's going to be a lot cheaper. They're not going to fly you out to Ireland. What they'll do is they'll hire you and do your AI double to fly to Ireland. What they'll do is put you in there as the background character or thing. Or you can literally film from home on your phone, and what they'll do is take that digital asset and then put it in with the characters. So now are we in the process of making movies, blockbuster movies, from your home and from your living room? Are we doing this hybrid, part human, part whatever? And these talent agents, they're also using AI to help part of the legal system and protect the IP. They're like IP specialists now that are all AI. So if you're a filmmaker, you might be dealing with talent that comes through traditional channels, but you also may be coming through it at this new wave with new AI talent representation. And so these companies like CAA and some of the bigger ones, they're not just trying to find people like Tilly Norwood. They're trying to create an entire digital asset of you, so this way it can be passed on and go on and be used at a cheaper, more affordable level and keep you involved. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But we're seeing this AI being used in so many different realms, in so many different places, and that you have these companies that are now using AI to kind of shift things and move things and work things and put these things into place. And that kind of leads me to my last topic. One of the biggest upcoming projects in AI filmmaking is the animated feature film called Critterz. Not the old 80s movie Critterz, but the new Critterz. It's being backed by OpenAI, working with Vertigo Films out of London, England, and with a company called Native Foreign out of Los Angeles, California. And their goal is to make this movie to test how generative AI can help speed the animation process and cut costs compared to traditional pipelines with regular CG animators like before. Critterz is scheduled to premiere at the Cannes Film Festival in May of 2026 with a global theatrical release shortly after that. What's wild is the budget is under $30 million and that the production timeline is actually about 9 months to create the entire thing. That's lightning fast compared to 2 or 3 years that it normally takes for a big animated feature film. So what they're hoping is the AI will still be in the process. Human actors will still be provided to do all the voices, but AI is handling much of the concept art, the creation, such as the background and the visuals and the animation, and most of the production work. So it's not replacing everything, but it's accelerating the workflow in a massive way at a massive scale. And what they're hoping it will do is for people who want to create 3D animated films like Pixar films, Pixar style films, and even a Pixar level films, people like you and me could use these generative AIs to not only create models and stuff like that, but you can draw and create your own content and then make your own feature film. And it's not just for the independent level that this is trying to do. This is the big company, like I said, that has a $30 million budget for this particular movie, but instead of spending hundreds of thousands or hundreds of millions of dollars trying to create the next Incredibles, what they're trying to do is see if the OpenAI will speed the timeline along to see if it will help make the animation flow better, faster, quicker, and stuff like that. So only time will tell, but like I said, it's scheduled out for May of next year. So that's only just a couple months. What is this, October? It's almost into October, so we got November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So yeah, like 7 months, literally in a half a year, we're going to see whether or not this works or not. But it's happening all the time. And that leads me to one last thing, is OpenAI is being used in all sorts of different areas. And you think it's crazy in podcast world? You think it's crazy in the movie world? You think it's crazy in animated world? You think it's crazy with AI cloning and AI actors? Holy smokes. Let's talk about the music industry for a second. Spotify and other record labels have already started experimenting with these AI-generated music and AI-generated artists. It's not just a fake artist, but a person who has a real face and has a real voice, but they're using it to mix and create entire music videos and entire albums by themselves with AI-generated cloning. And so instead of hiring sound mixers and big studio spaces and stuff like that, they're using AI models to do everything else for them. They're using AI to do the beat, the melody, the lyrics, and even the vocals, and instead of auto-tune, they're using AI to generate and create that, and they're using real likenesses of real people with their real voices. And here's the thing, studios are giving these people AI deals. And it's not just deals, there's entire concerts that's being sold out with these artists that are lip-syncing to their own AI-voiced music. In fact, they're kind of doing like a modern Milli Vanilli in a way with their own AI-generated songs on stage with their own AI music. And so they have a fake band that's out there playing with them, but it's a real actor who's standing on stage. So you have a real face and a real voice that comes out, but that voice and that music and that song and everything is all done by AI. And so the spectacle of the live event, of the live concert with fireworks and the pyrotechnics and the shots and stuff like that are all, is what people are paying to see the show. And they think they're actually listening to the real artists sing the real songs, when really it's like that song, I Want to Be a Rock Star. It's like, lip sing them every night so I don't get it wrong. And so that's what is happening in real life stages right now. Like, there are real life concerts that's being sold out at real life venues that are not only lip syncing, because that's been going on forever. There's tons of concerts out there where they lip sync, and you know that, I know that. We're not pretending that doesn't exist. But it's AI that's generated the music and the sound, and it's coming through the speakers, and it's coming through the things, and it's coming, and so we're not just seeing AI cloned people standing on stage. You're not just buying music off of Spotify or downloading it or watching it from YouTube that's AI generated anymore. You now have a person that they've picked to dress up. It's kind of like what was that country music singer? Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks decided he was going to come out as a different guy for a while, and he made himself all goth. He shaved his beard and did a little goatee down at the bottom, and he swooped his hair down, and he started making alternative music for an alternative character. And so, kind of like NSYNC or any of the boy bands from the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, you'll realize that they were all just actors that was brought in to do the dance moves, to do the choreography, and to do stuff like that, where it was different artists that were actually creating it. And what people don't realize now, and it's funny that people don't understand how music works, is you'll get an artist like, let's say, Katy Perry. They'll get Katy Perry and they'll get her into a studio, and she has a deal. She has a record deal. And what they will present to her, let's say her sound is supposed to be pop. And so they'll sit down and let her listen to pre-recorded music that's done by other artists that will be examples. And then she lays down the vocal track. So it's kind of like karaoke. It's very expensive karaoke, but what they do is they find a song that they like that can be their single. That's sometimes written and sang by somebody else, performed by somebody else. But they like it, and then they can select from the library of different content that can be their music. And so what they do is they go in the studio and they record. And this happened even since Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley would listen to a song and go, all right, I like that. This is going to be my song. Oh, let's go. And then Elvis would sing his version of that song, kind of like a cover song, kind of like a karaoke, kind of like a special version of the Elvis version of that song. And that would be released as his single. It happens to, everybody. It's happened to Katy Perry, to, all of them. Britney Spears, Taylor Swift, all of your artists do that. But what they're doing now is having AI create complete original content with their actual voices and stuff like that. So now they not only need a pretty face anymore, they can just pick anybody out of the hat and be like, all right, you're our next star. And there has been artists that come out and studios have talked about this, that if you had $50,000, you could be on the top Billboard of the top 40 chart of the Billboard with your music, whether it's AI or not. If you have another $20,000, you can pay both for the algorithm, for the likes, for the views, for the content, for the watch, and stuff like that. And you're paying really marketing to get your music played on the radio. So it automatically puts you into the chart. You could be one of the top 10 literally artists. You could be on the top 10 Billboard chart now if you have $70,000 laying around for marketing. Anybody can do it. Anybody. Now, you don't have the staying power because, if your music sucks or if it sounds like AI or sounds too automated and it's not getting requested and stuff like that, then what will happen is you paid $70,000. You're now on the top 10 Billboard chart. Your song is now being played on the air on the radio. And if it's not any good, it will disappear just as fast as it comes on. And because so many artists can do that nowadays, boom, 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 not only they're not making any money, you're losing most of that money. You're not really catching any of that. But also, you're kind of, you're one in a million, and that gives you your 15 minutes of fame, and then that's it. So you really... if the music is good, then you can have a long, strong, lasting power that will get represented and get played and get you the notice and the accolades and stuff like that. And so it's just crazy out there because, like I said, there's entire concerts, there's entire music videos, there are entire record deals out there that are using AI animated music and AI created content. Anyway, I think that's probably a good spot to stop, only because I think this video is going to end up being about 20 minutes long. I'm going to have to cut it down, chop it up into little bits and stuff like that before I start rambling. But the point of all this is going to be is that AI is there, AI is happening, AI is staying, and it's changing the industry completely. So where does that leave us as filmmakers? And here's the truth. AI is not going to kill filmmaking, but it will kill complacency. It will kill laziness. If you're stuck doing things the same way over and over and over that's been done before, you might get left behind because the truth is things are changing with leaps and bounds. So if you want to grow, the filmmakers who survive, the filmmakers who thrive are often the ones who learn how to adapt to the changes. The ones who learn how to use these tools as creative partners, not just as threats. Don't look at these as monsters trying to kill your career. Look at these as tools that may help elevate your career. But here's the key. Don't just let AI take over. You've got to bring your own voice, your own style, your own taste to the stories. That's the one thing that AI can never, ever, ever replace. So this whole video is talking about the good and the pros and the bads of AI. It won't ever destroy everything. There's lots of risks out there. AI content can feel cheap, soulless, if it's not used carefully. Audience can smell AI schlop from a mile away. They can just tell. And there are big legal and ethical questions out there, such as copyrights, likenesses rights, whether or not people should ever be allowed to use AI clones of somebody else's voices, especially with or without permission. Plus, if platforms ever crack down on synthetic content or ban AI superfans, then a lot of these AI content factories might vanish overnight just as fast as they opened up in the first place. Also, for actors, keep an eye on your representation. Make sure your contracts explicitly protects your voice, your image, your motions, your scans, your digital likenesses, your performance rights. Don't agree to this ambiguous terms that allow someone to turn you into a digital twin without ongoing control or compensation. So my advice is use AI responsibly, transparently with your audience, and remember that your personal creativity is always your greatest asset. So it's not going to come in here and destroy your ways of life, but it is going to change things. So at the end of the day, we're living through one of the most exciting times in filmmaking history. Yes, AI can definitely be scary. It could also look like the Terminator, but it also is an incredible opportunity as well. So my challenge really is to you for this is try making a short film or even a 1-minute clip using at least one AI tool this month. You know, combine it with your traditional filmmaking skills. That's what's important, is you're working on your skills. So what happens when you do that, share it with people, because the world out there wants to hear your voice. Anyone can push a button and generate content. The real value is going to come from storytellers like you and me, people who use these tools with visions and with heart. So guys, you shouldn't worry about what's happening in the industry as far as AI. It could be both a pro and a con. It could be a tool. It could be something that helps you and elevates you, or it could be something that hinders you and scares you. But most importantly, what I really want to convey is that the AI is out there. It's not going away anytime soon. So instead of being so scared of it, kind of embrace it a little bit. Kind of move forward with it. So anyway, guys, I hope that this video, other than the fact that it may have bored you to death because it was so long, is at least been informative. It may have helped you a little bit. I hope it's motivated you. I hope it's inspired you. Because all those things out there that I was talking about, whether it's the podcast, whether it's about, I don't want you to make AI slop. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I think that's horrible. But with that being said, all those tools are available for anyone. Anyone. And so that means that if they can do it, you can do it. And so it's no longer held by gatekeepers that prevent you from doing this. So if you want to be a podcaster, just start making your podcast. There's tools out there that'll help you edit, and they'll help you put it out there. You can get it on Spotify. It's literally, I'd be careful with Spotify though, because there's a lot of things in the Spotify contract. But I'm just saying, like, you can get your stuff out there like never before. YouTube and all those things. So I don't want to start repeating myself over and over and over. But I hope that this video has been educational. It's been inspirational. And I hope it's helped you in a way see that AI, which is there to stay. It's not going anywhere. I hope you see it not as a threat that's coming to kill your career and destroy you. I hope you see it as a way of advancing your career and growing your films and growing your products and growing your story and grow you as a storyteller. Anyway, guys, I'm going to shut up now because I feel like this is probably going to be the longest video ever. But anyway, guys, I love you. God bless you. Live with passion.